Rampant poverty and rampant homelessness are fueling rampant theft and rampant violence in major U.S. cities, Michael Snyder reports. The tremendous chaos that's gripping communities all over this country did not emerge out of a vacuum. For years, poverty and homelessness have been on the rise. According to a recent report from Harvard University, the number of homeless Americans has increased by almost 50% in less than a decade. Meanwhile, the ranks of poor have been growing as the middle class has been eroding. Today, approximately 40% of the entire U.S. population is considered to be either living in poverty or among the working poor, quote unquote. According to Wikipedia, the bottom 50% of the U.S. population only has 2.6% of the wealth, and that number is from 2021, and so things are almost certainly even worse today. All of this economic suffering is helping to fuel a deeply alarming explosion of theft and violence in our major cities, and our leaders don't seem to have any solutions. Everyone knows that homelessness is out of control in large coastal cities such as Los Angeles and New York, but we are seeing the same thing happening in the middle of the country as well. Nashville residents say they're increasingly struggling to afford a home as an influx of out-of-state buyers drive real estate prices up, leaving many with nowhere to go. Rates of chronic homelessness in the Tennessee capital have soared to 77% this year, according to the city's official stats. 77% in 1 year. Take a moment and let that number sink in. Many of these homeless people are actually working, but affording a place to live is out of reach for them. Today, the average one-bedroom apartment in Nashville will set you back more than $1,400 a month. Rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Nashville area soared $200 in the past year to $1,442 a month, according to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Young said, without more affordable housing, the issue will worsen. I guarantee you it's going to double from where we are now, he said. And home prices in Nashville have soared to absurd heights. The median home sale price in Nashville at the end of February was $414,012 compared to $290,983 5 years prior. Home prices are at the heart of the cost of living crisis that is causing so much pain all over the nation right now. As I discussed yesterday, home prices in the U.S. have risen by 47% since the start of the decade. So this helps to explain why tent cities are popping up from coast to coast. In my entire lifetime, I have never seen so many people sleeping on the streets of America. And many of them are addicts. San Francisco has decided to help them by giving them free beer and vodka shots. I wonder why. Now, the city of San Francisco is providing free beer and vodka shots to homeless alcoholics at taxpayers' expense under a little-known pilot program, the Managed Alcohol Program, quote-unquote, operated by San Francisco's Department of Public Health, serves regimented doses of alcohol to voluntary participants with alcohol addiction in an effort to keep the homeless off the streets and relieve the city's emergency services. Experts say the program can save or extend lives, but critics wonder if the government should be better off funding treatment and sobriety programs instead. Established in countries such as Canada and Australia, a managed alcohol program is usually administered by a nurse and trained support staff in a facility such as a homeless shelter or a transitional or permanent home, and is one method to minimize harm for those with alcohol use disorder, the California Healthcare Foundation explains in a 2020 article describing the pilot program. Are you kidding me? Of course, San Francisco has been given free syringes to drug addicts for a long time too. And needless to say, the problems San Francisco is facing have only gotten worse, and we have seen countless businesses leave the city as a result. The latest one to leave downtown San Francisco is American Eagle. Yet another retailer is leaving downtown San Francisco amid the city's spiraling crime and homeless crisis at the especially embattled San Francisco Center Mall. American Eagle announced it's closing its doors at the former Westfield San Francisco Center over the summer, citing more 100 significant security incidents that allegedly occurred between May 2020 and May 2023. Drug addicts constantly have to steal stuff in order to fund their addictions. And right now we're in the midst of the worst addiction crisis in the entire history of the United States. It's one of the primary reasons we're facing the worst retail theft crisis in the entire history of the United States. Retail shrinkage has more than doubled during the past 5 years, and it's now costing retailers more than $100 billion a year. If you've paid attention to recent retailer earnings reports, you have undoubtedly heard the phrase retail shrinkage cited as a key factor contributing to margin erosion and poor earnings performance. Shrink is the industry term for inventory loss, often attributed to theft and shoplifting, damage, or errors. Once simply considered a cost of doing business, retail shrinkage resulted in profit losses exceeding a staggering $100 billion in 2022. What's more problematic, the trend of shrink appears to be far from reversing course, with losses more than doubling over the past 5 years. These are the facts. I'm sorry if some people out there do not like them. In addition to rampant theft, our streets are filled with rampant violence. And earlier today, I was shocked to learn that police officers in the United States were attacked by more than 79,000 times last year. I would not want to work as a police officer in any of our major cities at this stage. It's way too dangerous. Sadly, our ongoing national crime wave is being made worse by organized crime groups that are coming from other countries as well. And they're skillfully robbing wealthy suburban homes. They do a lot of pre-op surveillance. They determine as best they can when someone won't be at home, and they go very quickly to the home and do their business. Now, Bouchard says the gangs that are causing so much chaos in this area of Michigan are mostly coming in from Chile. In other parts of the nation, groups from other areas are responsible for enormous spikes in crime as well. The federal government keeps trying to tell us that things are not that bad, but a Gallup survey discovered that a whopping 63% of all Americans believe that crime is either an extremely serious or very serious problem in this country. 63% of Americans describe the crime problem in the U.S. as either extremely or very serious, up from 54% when last measured in 2021, and the highest in Gallup's trend. Our society is literally coming apart at the seams all around us, and this is precisely what I've been warning would happen. Decades of very bad decisions have brought us to this point, and our politicians continue to take us in the wrong direction, it seems. But if you think that things are bad now, just wait until you see what conditions are like in a year or two from now. This is by Michael Snyder on End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Michael's new book entitled Chaos, available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon, and you can check out his new Substack newsletter right here. About the author, Michael Snyder, extremely controversial new book, Chaos, available in paperback and Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 7 other books available on Amazon, including End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, Commissions Earned. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, The Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. You can connect with Michael on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and share his articles on your own social media accounts. It's definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.